Okay, we will inshallah start. Just a minute. Okay, alhamdulillah. All of you can hear me. Okay, good, alhamdulillah. So how are all of you doing today? Good, alhamdulillah. So inshallah today we will continue with Surah Waqi'a, and I just wanted to know, were you able to read the previous ayahs and kind of get an idea about how much you have understood so far? Maybe Surah Rahman or Surah Waqi'a, any of these two surahs that we started with. And remember what we talked about initially, in the first class, we talked about how this class is a journey of light, and inshallah is going to help us to connect with the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and inshallah it is going to bring us more closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I think in last class I discussed about maybe if you can open the Musaf and try to look at the Arabic text and see how much you understand the verses, not just the translation but also the meaning, like the tafsir, the explanation, so that inshallah after we finish this course you have a deeper understanding of the Quran and the ayahs, and inshallah with this understanding you'll be able to it's going to help you to understand the other surahs and have a deeper connection with the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, so for this week I want you to focus on, maybe open up Surah Rahman or Surah Waqi'a and try to read at least 5 ayahs and see if you are able to at least 50% of the tafsir and the translation. Okay, and inshallah with that what you can do, another step is maybe open Surah Kahf or Surah Mulk, because these are the surahs that we read on a regular basis. So you can open up those surahs and read 5 ayahs from anywhere, the middle or the beginning or the end, and try to see how much you're able to understand from that reading. Okay, so the reason I'm telling you to do this is when we inshallah try this, we are able to fully assess ourselves, that was I able to understand without looking at the translation, was I able to just look at the Arabic text, read the Arabic text and understand at least 50% of the words, and inshallah that will tell you that this course was beneficial and you did get a deeper understanding of the ayahs of the Arabic text, and inshallah is going to help you in future in any of our classes, or just what you read in class, what you read on a daily basis from the Holy Quran. Okay, so are all of you ready? Inshallah we will begin today's session, and I will just play the tilawa or the qiraat of Surah Waqi'a, a few verses, the beginning verses, inshallah. Okay, I wanted to ask, do you remember till which ayah we did last time? We had done quite a few ayahs last time. Do you remember where we stopped? Yes, we stopped at ayah number 50. So maybe I'll put the qiraat from ayah number 50. Okay, inshallah. So ayah number 50 onwards, we will inshallah start now with the tilawa.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ثم إنكم أيها الضالون المكذبون لآكلون من شجر من زقوم فمالئون منها البطون فشاربون عليه من الحميم فشاربون شرب الهيم هذا نزلهم يوم الدين نحن خلقناكم فلولا تصدقون أفرأيتم ما تمنون أأنتم تخلقونه أم نحن الخالقون نحن قدرنا بينكم الموت وما نحن بمسبوقين على أن نبدل أمثالكم وننشئكم فيما لا تعلمون ولقد علمتم النشأة الأولى فلولا تذكرون أفرأيتم ما تحرثون أأنتم تزرعونه أم نحن الزارعون لو نشاء لجعلناه حطاما فظلتم تفكهون إنا لمغرمون بل نحن محرومون أفرأيتم الماء الذي تشربون أأنتم أنزلتموه من المزن أم نحن المنزلون لو نشاء جعلناه أجاجا فلولا تشكرون أفرأيتم النار التي تورون أأنتم أنشأتم شجرتها أم نحن المنشئون نحن جعلناها تذكرة ومتاعا للمقوين فسبح باسم ربك العظيم.
So we will inshallah stop it here with the tilawa. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. As you remember from our previous class, we can, instead of me doing a recap of Surah Al-Waqi'a, can someone tell me what we did so far? Or what have you understood about the main subject matter of Surah Al-Waqi'a? And what have we learned so far? Who can share? Inshallah, today we'll try to complete as many ayahs as possible. If possible, inshallah, we will try to complete the surah today. Because the ayahs, as you see, the ayahs are pretty, short ayahs. And if possible, inshallah, we'll finish it today. Otherwise, we can finish it in our next class. So what is the main? Yes, the people will be divided into three groups. Good, Barakallah Fiqh, Sister Majid will say that. The three types of people and what they will get at the hereafter. Compensation of good with good. Yes, that's also a very important point. Bad with bad. What else? What else did we learn from Surah Waqi'a? You can also look at the ayahs, the verses, till ayah number 50, and see how much you understand and how much you recollect from what we did. Okay, foremost will be the best. Okay, what else? And remember the category of people, Ashabul Shimal and Ashabul Yameen or Ashabul Mash'ama. For the two groups of people that will go to Jannah, the foremost will get more luxuries. Yes. Okay. People of Jannah will be rewarded with fruits, what they like. Yes. Good, Barakallahu Feek. And if you remember, in our last class, we learned about what is the, basic difference in those, luxuries in Jannah for Sabiqun and Ashabul Mashana. And the foremost, they will have a choice, yes. So why do you think for Sabiqun, why is there greater reward, or why will they have choice? Something deep. I want you to ponder on that point. Firstly, let's try to ponder, or let's try to analyze that. Who are the Sabiqun? What comes to your mind? Remember last class we discussed about who are the Sabiqun and what makes them different from others? What makes them different from Ashabul Mash'ama? Okay, because they dedicated their whole lives to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and didn't get caught up with worldly things. And for me, Mahjubin says the most catching point is that if Allah says that they will be very few from later times, when it is only our best efforts that and struggle that can make us of those. Yes, true. What else comes? They are devoted followers. Sister Saranam says that. Yes, good. They are foremost. Something else. I want the other sisters also to take part. MashaAllah, we have a lot of sisters. Sister Bisma, Maryam. We have Sister Nabta Hill, Sana. You cannot hear anything? Is there a problem with the sound for everyone? Can you all hear me? Sorry, I have a cold, sore throat, so can you all hear me? Okay. Sister Mahjabin, maybe she has to call the phone, the gray phone icon. Just a minute. I will just type in the message for her. Okay. Okay, Alhamdulillah. So when we talk about, let's try to look at it in a different way. So people who are sabiqun, they are foremost. So, mashallah, all of you have said that they are foremost in doing good deeds. They have given priority to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to deen, and, their whole life revolves around their deen, their religion, and priority. They have set this priority that deen comes first, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the haqq of Allah comes first. So try to compare it to our lives, just for us to have a self-reflection or something to ponder over our own life. To be honest, does our whole life revolve around Islam, or do we have priority to Islam or to Akhirah, or does dunya come in between? Do we give priority to dunya or to Akhirah? For majority of us, what do you think? Like for myself, I feel that sometimes, I'm so busy because I work, I have, full-time job, then I come home, I have so many, things that I need to do at home. Then sometimes I feel, and when I pray, I feel, sometimes our salah is all rushed and we don't have that much khushu. So sometimes I feel, our priority sometimes shifts. do not think twice when spending their wealth. They do it immediately, yes. For an example, they would die for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but sadly today many of us would be afraid. Yes, true, barakallahu feek, Mishal. So we need to analyze, in my life, am I, or if I want to, my heart wants to be among the sabiqun, but am I striving to be one of those? And the point that I wanted you to ponder on, or you to think deeply, is that in dunya we have so much of choice, isn't it? This is a very deep point. I want you to reflect on it. In dunya we have so many opportunities, so much of choice. Either we can do salah, we can choose to do good deeds, we can choose to spend our wealth in the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we can choose to work for the deen. But if we choose that, instead of doing this, I'm going to take out time for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I'm going to give priority to the deen, for my religion, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that even though in dunya, human beings, or us humans, we have so much of opportunity, so much of choice, either we choose dunya or we choose akhirah. So, but when a person, when a mu'min, a Muslim, he or she, they choose akhirah, they choose the hereafter, and because they choose hereafter, they are working towards it, they do good deeds, they think about what they are taking in their book of record. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that even though they had so much of opportunities or choice, either give priority to dunya or akhirah, yet those people, they choose akhirah. That is why they strive to do good. They are the foremost in doing good. For them, pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the priority. So that is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that they gave up all their desires. They gave up all their, sometimes people become lazy. They gave up all those, attractions of dunya. They gave priority to the akhirah. They fought against their own nafs. They fought against the shaitan. They fought against all those temptations. They had so much of choice, isn't it? All of us, we have so much of choice. Either we can be indulged in the luxuries of dunya, the distractions, the temptations of dunya, and on the other hand, we have this, call to earn that home in Jannah, that eternal home in Jannah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, for a person who has priority, for akhirah, for the hereafter, so for those people, I'm going to give them choice in akhirah. They can choose any of the blessings. They can choose any of the, the fruits or the provisions of Jannah. Do you get it now? It's a very deep meaning that we can derive, or a deep point that we can, analyze these ayahs in our life and relate it to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is trying to tell in these group of ayahs. Do you all agree with what I'm saying? It is a very deep point. Excuse me. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, for a person who has priority for akhirah, who had all that luxury and all that temptation, he had so many choices, she had so much, to choose from in dunya, yet she gave priority to deen, she gave priority to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, she gave priority about akhirah. Give me a minute, I'll grab some water. Okay, sorry, I have a really bad cough, and my throat was getting dry, probably because I've been talking for some minutes. Okay, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is trying to tell us that if you give priority to akhirah, to the hereafter, then in akhirah it is the promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He is going to give us that choice. And imagine, that privilege of having choice in Jannah. Not everyone gets that, is it? So that is a big blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And through these ayahs we come to know that indeed for those people who have priority or who give priority to the hereafter, then for them, obviously, they have a higher status. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that they are, closest to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they're going to have that extra blessings and that freedom of choice in Akhirah, in Jannah. Okay? So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us among the Sabiqoon. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, cleanse our hearts from all temptations of dunya. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, strengthen our iman so that we strive to do deeds that take us to Jannah. Ameen. Okay, so we will inshallah start. We'll continue during March break. I have no idea. I will inshallah let you know. I will find out from Doha admin and I will inshallah let you know. Okay? So ayah number 51, inshallah, we will be starting with our, the ayahs for today. We did a brief recap. And so here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about the punishment. If you remember, the ayahs were about the punishment for the people who are of the left. Ashabul Mashama. Or Ashabul Shimal, We can also say Ashabul Mashama or Ashabul Shimal. Okay? Yes, will be punished due to their shirk because they were flourishing in dunya. Yes, and they will eat zaqqum. That's good, barakallahu feek. And Sister Majabin wrote that it shows that our Creator knows that insan is always craving for choices. It is our innate fitra. Yes, that's also a good point. And an ayah that came to my mind was Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Imran that there's nothing wrong in having desire for worldly matters. There's nothing wrong in that. And if you remember, one of the du'as in Surah Baqarah is Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanatan wa fil akhirati hasanatan. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that we can ask for things of dunya. We can have luxuries too if we can afford it. There's nothing wrong in it. It is not against Islam. But how do we find that right balance? That's the challenge, isn't it? So we can avail all those luxuries, all those provisions that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave in dunya. There's nothing wrong in that, but there needs to be a balance. Okay? So that is really important. And in Surah Al-Imran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that people will have temptation for worldly matters like having kids, especially the ayah mentioned sons. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says for land, because everyone wants to have wealth or property, for gold. Sorry. So these things are really important. Yes, no excess. Yes. So there needs to be a moderate balance in all that we desire from this dunya. And another thing, I was listening to a scholar, and he was saying the dua Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanatan wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina azaban nar. So I have a homework for you, or right now an activity for you. So in this dua, I want you to analyze what three things are we asking. Rabbana atina fid dunya. I'm sure all of you know this dua by heart. رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ. So what are the three things that we are asking? One by one, I want you to do. Write it here. Okay, we good in both hereafter and the word, okay? رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا. Dunya, we're asking for dunya. وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ. Okay, dunya and akhirah, both the things are there. What's the third thing? Okay, protection from hellfire. Good, barakallahu feek. So let's analyze hasana in dunya and deen in dunya and refuge from fire. Good, barakallahu feek. Worldly life and hereafter. And the third thing is protection from hellfire. So how much are we in this whole dua? So how many things are for akhirah? What, like, how much are we asking for akhirah and how much is for dunya? Yes, two things of the hereafter. And how much for the dunya? One for dunya. Good, barakallahu feekum. So what does it teach us? When we are making du'as, or when we are, striving to gain something or to benefit from something of the dunya, or when we want to strive for the akhirah, how can we attain that balance? So over here you get a ratio, isn't it? Scholars say kind of a ratio can be taken out from this dua, and it's an ayah too in the Quran. So 2:1. Do you see that? We're asking for two things of the akhirah and just one thing of the dunya. That is how, our approach should be. Strive when you want to strive, it should be, 2:1 ratio. Dunya versus akhirah. Dunya is, just asked once, and akhirah is twice. Okay? So that is something really deep that we come to know from this dua too. Okay? So, ayah number 51, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, ثم إنكم أيها الضالون المكذبون. Yes, it's sometimes it's hard to know that balance. And then this dua, we come to know of, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to do. So in ayah number 51, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala further goes on and, talks about the people of Jahannam. And over here, summa is used. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, summa, then, after some time, or the next thing that is being mentioned is that, innakum, you, indeed, inna is indeed, and kum is you, it's a pronoun. Ayyuha is, used to call out to any group of people or a single person. When we say, when we call on to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how do we call on to Him? Who can tell me? What do we use when we call on to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? It's called ism mawsul. In grammar, the term used to call out to others, it's called ism mawsul. Sorry, harf nida, sorry. It's called harf nida. Yeah, good, barakallahu feek. Ya Allah, or, in English we say, oh Allah. And so that ya is what? It is a letter that is used to call on to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Or we sometimes say, maybe if you're calling out to some person, we say, Ya Maryam. And in the Quran, you find with the names of prophets too. Ya Yusuf, or, so many prophets' names too. So ya is harf nida. It is used to call on to someone. Over here, when it is for plural, so ya is used for singular. Over here you see ayyuha, so it is used for plural. Okay? Ya is just for singular. Over here, when you want to call on to a group of people, you will use ayyuha. Okay? So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, innakum ayyuha dallun. Oh, those astray. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is basically calling on to these people and saying, al-mukazzibun. Not just astray, imagine the severity with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is calling. Al-mukazzibun. You are the deniers too. And what comes to your mind when you hear these words, or basically Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not just saying, oh people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is calling them with certain attributes, isn't it? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, you are the astray people, and not just astray, you are not just misguided, but you are deniers. So if you remember last time we discussed about what if they deny, like what do you think? Okay, astray, they are misguided and they are astray from the straight path. But what else? Denial of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, they denied Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They did not believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And something else, remember? We discussed about it last time. They used to deny that there will be a day of judgment. Isn't it? And that was their big sin that they did. Their biggest sin is that they denied that there is going to be a day of judgment. So, and imagine, imagine it this way, that in dunya, someone is calling, instead of calling out with your name, you know, instead of saying, yeah, Fatima, if someone says, oh, so and so, with an attribute, do we feel hurt? Do we feel humiliated? We feel that, isn't it? We feel sad, we feel humiliated, we feel disgraced. Why? Because instead of using our name, or instead of using a good attribute, if someone is calling us with a bad attribute, we feel disgraced and humiliated. So here, imagine Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is humiliating them, He is disgracing them by calling on to them using their attribute. Ayyuha dhalun, you are astray, and not just astray, but you are al-mukazzibun. Because they denied Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they also denied the day of judgment, and they denied that Quran is the word of Allah. So these were the crimes of the dhalun. They denied Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the day of judgment, the book of Allah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is further on, He's saying, لَآكِلُونَ مِنْ شَجَرٍ مِنْ زَقُومٍ. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, it's not your azab, your punishment is not just going to end there. He's saying, oh people who are astray, oh deniers, over here, lam fatha, that you see, it is used for, la'akiluna, indeed, or you are surely going to taste this. La that you see here, it is used for indeed, not the alif, but just the la. I cannot highlight. Okay, I can use a pen. So just the la, lam fatha or lam zabar la. It is used for surely. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that this is surely going to happen. And I want you to imagine the severity of the ayahs that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to visualize. La'akiluna, surely you will eat. What? Min shajarin. La, if it was la, it is no. If it is just lam fatha or lam zabar, then it is indeed or surely. Okay? This is for no. But if it is just lam fatha or lam zabar without the alif, then it is indeed or surely. Okay? And that is why it is la'akiluna. It is not la'akiluna. If it was la'akiluna, that means we are saying no, you're not eating. So that is really important from the point of tajweed. That when we are reciting such ayahs, we need to be careful about the harkat or the zabar or fatha that we are reading. It's just one count. La'akiluna. Okay? Okay, wait, barakallahu feek. So over here, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, min shajarin min zaqum. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that surely this is going to happen. And what is that? That you are going to eat from a tree. And what is that tree? Min zaqum. It is not just any ordinary tree that is going to give you, provision or mean of sustenance, but it is the tree of zaqum. And what about the tree of zaqum? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَمَالِئُونَ, then, and over here as you see, fa is for then, mali'una is, you are going to fill. And the root word for this is mim lam hamza, mil. And what is that? It means to fill something. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that you are going to fill. And remember I told you, the waw noon at the end is for plural. So you are going to fill minha, with it or from it, minhal butun. And butun, the root word is ba, ta, noon. And what is butun? Butun or batan is the belly. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that this tree that you're going to eat from, you are going to be so hungry, because these people, they are, in hellfire, they are undergoing that punishment. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that, these people, They are going to be so hungry that they're going to fill their bellies with zakum. And what is that zakum? Let's read about it. Can someone tell me what is zakum? Can someone describe? I'm sure you have read explanation about zakum. It is the low tree. What else? It is a tree that, it is a thorny tree. Yes, it is a thorny tree, kind of like cactus, what grows in deserts. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that these people, they're going to eat from this thorny tree. And how is that? There's a hadith which talks about what zakum is. It is a thorny tree with foul smell and has a bitter taste. See, it's not something that people are going to enjoy eating. It's not something that is going to give them sustenance. It's not something that they're going to enjoy. Okay? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from the azab of Jahannam. I mean, yes, it is going to be a spiky tree. Thorny, spiky tree. Yes, it's most bitter in taste too. Good, barakallahu feekum. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that they are going to fill their stomachs. Why? Because they're going to be hungry, they're going to be thirsty. Why? Because it's going to be so much of, pain in Jahannam for them. Allahumma ajirna minan nar. Oh Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, save us, protect us from the torment of hellfire. Ameen. So whenever we read such ayahs in the Quran, we should be making du'as, for protection. And when we read ayahs about Jannah, we should make du'as that, oh Allah, grant us this Jannah. Okay? Yes. The hadith is that if a drop of it is, of the zakum is dropped, the entire dunya will be ruined, and it is so bad in smell and taste. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, fa, and, or it is also used for then. Fasharibuna, and or then, sharibuna, they are going to drink. And in Urdu too we use this word sharab, or mashroob. So here it is for drink. So fasharibuna, they are going to drink, and drink alayhi, over it, min al-hamim. Min is from al-hamim. The root word is ha, mim, mim. So they are going to not just eat from this thorny tree, but they are going to, what is their drink? Because in dunya, imagine when, someone thinks about, eating or something that is going to give them sustenance, they think about food and drink. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying the food of the people of Jahannam is going to be zakum, and their drink is going to be scalding or hot boiling water. Yes. So this is going to be the azab for the people of Jahannam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from the torment of hellfire. Ameen. And the root word of zakum, I think I didn't tell you. It's ayah number 52, isn't it? So zakum is, who can guess? It's pretty easy. You can look at it and tell me. Zakum. What is the root word? Try. Or what is the root word of shajar? It's pretty simple. Even though we're not doing root words in our test, yes, but I still wanted you to be, kind of know what the root words are. Yes, it's za, qaf, mim. Okay? And shajar is pretty simple. Sheen, jeem, ra. Shajar. Good, barakallahu feekum. Yeah. And further on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, fasharibuna, or then you are going to drink, shurba. Shurba is what? Drinking. Shurbal him. Shurbal him. And what is that? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, giving more description about these people. That how are they going to drink that scalding water? It's not just something that they're going to drink and, because it's scalding or boiling water, they're going to leave it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that they're going to drink like thirsty camels. Why? Because they are going to be in Jahannam with that azab, with the, severity of Jahannam. They're going to be so thirsty that even though it's boiling, scalding water, they would want to drink it. And how thirsty are they going to be? As if they are like thirsty camels. And why is that comparison given? Why? Because, you must have seen, for the people, yes, because they are going to be drinking after so many years. And another thing is you see, oops, sorry. Just a minute. There's something wrong with my screen. Sorry. For some reason, I cannot see my screen. Just a minute. Just a minute. Give me a minute. Okay, go ahead. Okay, can you see the screen now? Okay, ayahs are there. Okay, alhamdulillah. Okay, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that, He's comparing it to the drinking of camels. And in Quran, the style of Quran is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives various examples so that it's easy for the reader to, make connections and understand what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is describing. Okay? So, and you see there are so many examples in the Quran that, for the people of Makkah or for the people in Arabia to understand and relate to it more. Why? Because they were living in the desert. And there are so many examples in the Quran about dates, So that's how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, gives so much of description so that any reader, not just, people in the desert, but even for us, because all of us have been to deserts, we have seen pictures or we know how it is, so we can relate and understand it more. Okay? Over here, Al-Habib. Even though in Arabic you must have seen the word, for camels is different, but here for thirsty camels, a specific word is there, and it's Al-Hamim. Okay? So that's the word used here, thirsty camels, Al-Hamim. And then the next ayah, just a minute. The next ayah is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, هَذَا نُزُلُهُمْ يَوْمَ الدِّينِ. And this ayah is really severe in the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that هَذَا, this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, all this punishment, all this severe result for these people, nuzuluhum. Allah says it is their hospitality. And when is that hospitality going to happen? Who can tell me? It's in the ayah. When is that hospitality going to happen? On which day? Which day is it? On the day of judgment. And what comes to your mind? Why do you think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying it's hospitality? Nuzuluhum. Nuzuluhum, the root word is Nun Za Lam. So it is hospitality. Hum is for them or is there. So why the day of judgment? I want you to relate it with Al-Mukazzibun. Al-Mukazzibun, remember in ayah number 51? Over here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that they are the deniers. And Allah is saying over here that all this punishment, all this, severe punishment are for these people, and it is not just a punishment. Allah is saying that it is hospitality for them. Yes, because they were deniers, they sinned. Yes, and they denied the day of judgment. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that this great sin of yours, that you deny the day of judgment, Allah is saying that you are going to be welcomed with this severe punishment. It is kind of your, hospitality that is going to be given to you. And because you were denier of the day of judgment, all this hospitality is going to happen on the day of judgment. So this makes us, gives us the severity of their sin. And what was their sin? That they denied the day of judgment. Yes, and at that time, on that day of judgment, they will not have the opportunity to turn back. Isn't it? They cannot go back to dunya. And there are so many ayahs, so many verses in the Quran where you see, the mujrim, the wrongdoers, that they will say, oh, give us another day, give us another life, or give us some time. We want to go back and fix our affairs. But, obviously, when time is up, when a person dies, his day of judgment starts. And there is an ayah in Surah, in Juz 17, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, اقترب للناس حسابهم. That the hisab, or the accounting, or the day of judgment has come near to the people, but the people are lost. And scholars say that the accountability, or the questioning of a person starts from the time the soul departs his body. His qiyamah, or his day of judgment, starts from there. Why? Because obviously all that questioning and all that, when the angels come and receive the soul, if he or she was a good person, then angels of khair, or agents with the kafan from Jannah, it has so much of good perfume on it. They come with bright faces and happy faces. So a person's accountability and day of judgment will start as soon as their soul departs their body. So that is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that it is really important for a person to make use of this time that he has in dunya. Okay? And then further on, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, نَحْنُ خَلَقْنَاكُمْ فَلَوْلَا. Over here, note, it is not just lam zabar or lam fatha. It is lam alif zabar. Lam alif zabar. So falawla, not. That is why you see not, or no. So Allah says falawla tusaddiqun. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, kind of he is acknowledging the fact that nahnu, we, khalaqnakum, we are the ones who created you. Khalaqna is obviously from the root word kha, la, qaf, and then na is again for we. Okay? There's a pronoun we. Kum is you. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, we created you. And see the emphasis, nahnu, we, khalaqnakum, we created you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that I created you, and yet you deny me, you deny the day of judgment, and you think that you want to associate, partners with me. I was the one who created you. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَلَوْلَا تُصَدِّقُونَ. So why do you not admit to the truth? The truth of Islam, the truth of the day of judgment, the truth that there is only one God, the truth that, Quran is the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? Clear till here? Everyone is good till here? Do you have any questions? Okay, good. Okay, further on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and I want you to imagine the severity and the choice of words in these ayahs. Okay? And then inshallah you can relate it to the previous ayahs of these three group of people. So obviously their end result is different based on their deeds in dunya. And then in ayah number 58, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, in ayah number 58, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَفَرَأَيْتُمْ مَا تُمْنُونَ. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is questioning And something else I want you to reflect on is, as we go on to the ayahs, you will see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking so many questions. Okay? And I want you to ponder or, reflect on those questions. And the style of the surah towards the end, especially, you see that there are a lot of questions Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking. People think that they deny the day of judgment, they deny that there is any God. Then how is this happening? How is this, how was this created? Who made this? Okay? So reflect on that, these last ayahs. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that, أَفَرَأَيْتُمْ مَا تُمْنُونَ. So again, a question, what you see here is question. أَفَرَأَيْتُمْ, do you see, ma, what, tumnoon, you emit. And what does this mean? You emit, or what is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala trying to tell us? Ayah number 58. And the root word for tumnoon is Neem, Noon, Ya. Okay? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that even though you know that I created you, you know the truth, you know that there's going to be a day of judgment, yet people want to deceive themselves. They want to live in this delusion that there is no God, there is no day of judgment. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that I created you. Then why don't you admit to the truth? Then why do you, still continue to do wrong? And then further Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking another question. Antum takhluqunahu, did you create all this? Is antum, is it you? Takhluqunahu, who created it? Or who created? Who is again it? It is a pronoun. Okay? Or nahnu, we, al-khaliqun. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He's asking questions. He's asking us questions. That, when people say that they think, Nauzubillah, that so-and-so is the son of God, or they think that these are the partners, they believe or they worship idols. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that who created all that you see around you? Did we create all, that you see around you, or did these false deities, they created everything? So He's asking a question. He wants us to reflect, to think, think deeply and analyze things and reach to a conclusion. Another thing, I read a very interesting article many days back. It was an article, maybe you can Google it up and read it. The author was Dr. Akram Nadwi. He's a very famous scholar of our times. His lectures are very good. You can hear it on YouTube. He's one of the best scholars of our times. And he wrote many books, like in Arabic and English too. He's a professor at Oxford University. So he was comparing Ibrahim alayhi salam and Newton. It was something really interesting. The article that he wrote, he was saying that Newton also pondered. He reflected on around him in the universe, and Ibrahim alayhi salam also reflected and pondered over whatever was around him. But both of them reached different conclusions. Okay, what do you think was the main difference? What was the purpose of their reflection, and what conclusions did they reach to? Newton and Ibrahim alayhi salam. What comes to your mind? What was the difference in their personalities and their priorities also? Yes, Ibrahim alayhi salam, he pondered and he came to the conclusion that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created everything. He pondered, he looked at the sun and he thought, the sun is so big, maybe this is my Rabb. Do you remember that those ayahs in Surah Anam? And he sees that, the sun then goes down. oh no, he says the sun cannot be my God. Why? Because the sun, it rises and then it sets. He looked at the moon and he thought maybe this is my God. But he saw that the moon also disappears after a while. He saw the stars. That's how he pondered. He reflected on things and he used his intellect, he used his reasoning, and he reached a conclusion. He found Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Isn't it? But sometimes you see, people, even though they have the intellect, they have the knowledge, they reflect on things, yet they are still away from the truth. They have knowledge of the dunya, they are big scientists, they are, inventors and everything, yet they are so illiterate in terms of the akhirah. They are so illiterate in terms about, knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is really important for us to remember that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has gave us intellect, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has gave us that reasoning, we need to use it to, know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to know the reality of life. Okay? So here too Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that, who do you think, who created all this? Was it me or was it your false idols? And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, نَحْنُ قَدَّرْنَا بَيْنَكُمُ الْمَوْتَ وَمَا نَحْنُ بِمَسْبُوقِينَ. And this is another interesting ayah. Allah says, نَحْنُ is what? We. قَدَّرْنَا. Qaddar is have decreed. Na is again for pronoun. Now, we. Okay? Noon alif, fatha, noon alif, zabar. So, we have decreed. Bainakum. Baina is what? Between or among. Kum is you. What did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decree? Al-maut. The death. Wa and ma. And another important thing is sometimes you see that ma is used for, two things. Ma is used for what? And sometimes you see ma is also used for not. Okay? Based on the context of the ayah, you will do that translation. Okay? Wama and not. Nahnu bimasbuqeen. Be is with. Okay? Be is if you, this is a preposition with. Masbuqeen, outrun. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is again asking us a question. And what is that question? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that He is the one who decreed death. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that every person has an appointment, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He has an appointed time that he is going to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that he is going to leave this dunya. And that person or no one can escape that. And why is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying all this? Why? Because these people who denied the day of judgment, how could they deny it when they knew that one day they are going to die and they have to face Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, kind of telling them or, giving them proofs that everyone has to face death. It is something that is destined. It is something that is decreed for everyone. And that's a verse in the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Kullu nafsin zaiqatul maut. That every soul is going to taste death. So no one can escape death. Okay, and masbuqeen, as you see here, it's ayah number 60, and the root word is sin, ba, qaf. Okay, and I said wow noon, and sometimes ya noon is also used for plural. Okay, so masbuqeen. So neem is. Does anyone remember? I told sometimes in nouns there's a meme at the end and it shows something. Do you remember? Like for example, let's take an easy example: Muslimun or Muslimin. So what does the meme mean? Basically, meme means the one who. No, the meme in the beginning is one who does that. Okay, one who does that action or one who is doing it. Okay, and for example, Muslimin or Muslimun means one who submitted to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, Over here too, masbuqeen means one who cannot outrun. Okay? And in this way you can easily take out the root word. Seen, ba, qaf. Okay? Seen, ba, qaf is the root word. Masbuqeen is that one cannot escape or outrun. Okay? Clear? And then further on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, yes, now, one who does the now, like one who's doing, you know, over here, even though it is, it looks like a verb, but it is actually a noun. You know, these people who are doing this attribute or who have this attribute. Okay? And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says further 61, ala, in, and, it means that, nubaddila, we will change. Amsalakum, amsalakum is from the root word, mim, sa, lam, misal, you know, you must have heard this. Misal means example or your likeness. Wa nunshi'akum, wa is an, nunshi'akum, kum is again the plural. So what is left in between? Nunshi'akum. So over here the root word is Noon, Sheen, Hamza. Okay? Noon, Sheen, Hamza is the root word. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that in that we will change your likeness and produce you. Fi is in, ma what, la, you know, note the la, lam, alif, zabar, or fatha, la, ta'lamoon, you know. So what is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying in these ayahs? What example is he giving? It is ayah number 60. Oops, sorry. 61, no, yeah. So what comes to your mind? What is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala trying to tell us? Why is he asking all these questions? He wants us to ponder and think about all these things. You know, if a person denies the akhirah, you know, even for us, alhamdulillah, we accept that there is going to be a day of judgment. We know that everyone has to, stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But I feel when we have deeper understanding of the Quran, we can talk to people who deny the akhirah, or who do not deny that there is going to be a day of judgment. And when we have these, ayahs or these guidelines, then it's easier for us to convince them. Isn't it? Okay? So over here, as you see, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that these people who think that they are the ones, sometimes they associate partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or sometimes they deny the existence of God, or sometimes they, deny the day of judgment. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking them questions and make them, think. Let them ponder and realize and, reach to conclusions. And over here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, so, just a minute, sorry. If he wanted, nothing could have hindered us, to produce or to make someone like these people. وَلَقَدْ عَلِمْتُمُ النَّشْأَةَ الْأُولَى فَلَوْلَا تَذَكَّرُونَ. And certainly you know the creation, the first, so why not you take heed? So this ayah seems to be a bit hard, but I will inshallah explain it to you. And over here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that people think that they cannot be, resurrected on the day of judgment. People think that they can, they cannot be created from dust. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that for him it wasn't difficult to create for the first time. So, I want you to reflect on this point or think about it, that creating something from nothing is hard, isn't it? When humans come into, this dunya as babies, They are basically from nothing, isn't it? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, creating for the first time wasn't difficult. So how can, it be difficult for him to create or to resurrect people from dust when they have, decomposed and everything has turned to dust and even their bones have decayed? Okay? So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that to those people, to the deniers of the day of resurrection. And he is questioning them again. فَلَوْلَا تَذَكَّرُونَ, why do you not take heed? All these examples are there. Why don't you take heed of all these things? And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala further in ayah number 63, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, again there's a question. أَفَرَأَيْتُمْ مَا تَحْرُثُونَ, and do you see what? Ma is what? Tahrusun is from the root word ha-ra-sa, harth. And that means something that we farm or cultivate or sow. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, and another thing, important thing about reading Quran is that never think that these ayahs are just for the disbelievers, these are just for the mukazzibun. Each and every ayah, one of the manners of reading Quran is that we should take each and every ayah as if it is for me. It is for me to reflect on, it is for me to take a lesson. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, Afaraitum, and do you see, ma, what, tahrusun, what you grow or what you cultivate? And he wants us to ponder and reflect on what we see around us. Antum, is again, a question. Is it? Antum, you, tazra'unahu, that you cause it to grow. And over here the root word is zara. I think in Urdu also we use the word zarat, cultivation. That do you grow it? Nahu, do you grow all this that you see around you? All the cultivation, all, whatever you see, let it be fruits or vegetables or any kind of tree or herbs or anything that you see. Or nahnu, we, zari'un. Zari'un is what? One who grows. And we don't have time to go in details into grammar, but over here it is in the form of fa'ilun. Okay? Like over there you saw kazibun. Remember? Oh no, we didn't have kazibun, we had mukazzibun. Okay? This is a different root. But over here you have zari'un, fa'ilun. So it is on the same form. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking people, all that you see around you, is it I who created everything or is it you who created everything? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants the people who deny the day of judgment or deny the existence of God to reflect. Can everything grow on its own? It's not possible, isn't it? Law nasha'u. Law, if, nasha'u, we will. If we wanted, laja'alnahu. La is again, what does it mean, la? It's not la, it's la. Lam fatha or lam zabar. What does it mean? It means, does it mean no or does it mean surely? Surely it means surely, or sometimes the translation you'll see indeed. La ja'alnahu, surely, ja'alna, the root word of this word is jim, ayn, lam, ja'al, make, na, we. Who? It. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, surely we will make it, or we would make it, hutaman, debris. فَذَلْتُمْ تَفَكَّهُونَ. Fa is then, ذَلْتُمْ, you would remain, تَفَكَّهُونَ. Tafakkahun is again, something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to wonder. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that all that you see around you, if everything, all the greenery, the lush trees and the cultivation, all the farms and all those fruits that you grew or all that grain that you see, If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala willed, He can make everything into debris or something that is, like of no use. Hutaman is something that has no use for anyone. Fazaltum, and if everything is destroyed, Allah says that if I created everything, and if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroyed everything, can humans bring all that destructed cultivation or harvest back to green, something that's fresh and something that's usable? Is it possible for humans? Maybe you see, after after summer, you see that everything turns into yellow, isn't it? When fall season comes, everything turns into yellow. The grass, all the leaves, the trees, all forms of vegetation turns to, basically it's like debris, isn't it? Waste matter. So is it possible for humans, even though we have advanced so much, we have reached the moon, or we have done so much of exploration and everything in space, but were humans able to bring fall or bring, when everything has turned to yellow, change fall season to summer? We're not able to do it, isn't it? It's not possible for us. Why? Because obviously that's the difference between humans and the Creator. That's what differentiates us. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala willed, He can turn all that lush green vegetation into hutaman, something that's waste, debris. And what can humans do? They cannot do anything. Fazaltum, and you will be just sitting wondering, thinking of, what they can do. Why? Because they're going to be helpless. Because humans cannot, bring things back to life. Inna, indeed we, lamughramun. La is again, surely or indeed, mughramun, and the root word is ghain ra mim. That we are the ones who are going to, surely are laden with death. So what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mean with this word? And something else I want you to reflect on. The ayah, or the theme of the ayahs were that these people are mukazzibun, these people are dallun, they are the deniers of the day of judgment. And over here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, He's kind of comparing it to how when all, the vegetation turns to yellow color, or it is, turns to debris or waste material, how after fall season, after winter, when everything, is practically dead, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings everything to life. How in spring you see that within 1 or 2 days, you see that the grass turns green, you see that, the leaves have green, the trees have green leaves. Have you pondered over that change after winter? That everything changes so quickly. And as humans, we can never do that. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, if He can bring, the dead land to life after winter to, the spring season, similarly Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can resurrect the dead. And these similar ayahs are there in many other verses in the Quran. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, like, just as how we bring the dead land to life, similarly we can bring the dead, we can resurrect the dead. Have you ever read those ayahs? Here too, the same theme is there. Do you see that? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, asking us to ponder over the same thing. So here in ayah number 66, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that He can surely bring about that change. And for humans, it's not possible. Bal nahnu mahrumun. And, bal, nay, nahnu, we, mahrumun, are the ones who are deprived. So for humans, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying it is not possible for them to bring about that change. Afara'aytum, again another question. Do you see al-ma, the water, allazi tashrabun, that you drink? So after the dead land, you know, how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings life to the dead land. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about water. And inshallah, we will end by probably ayah number 70, inshallah, we'll end. Okay? And again, we'll do a brief recap of these ayahs. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that, do you see the water which you drink? So what does water signify? What comes to your mind when you think about water? It is life, yes, good, barakallahu feek. And what else? When we talk about water, is it something? Yes, we need water to function, good. And have humans been able to produce water, even though we have produced so many, you know, artificial things? Did humans ever, you know, have that technology to produce water? No. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that, you know, water is life, water is essential for life. So, and that you enjoy, you know, drinking it, and not just drinking, humans use water for so many things. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking, have you seen that? Have you pondered over water that you drink? Something as simple as water that comes from the ground, that, you know, it comes from the sky when it rains. Antum anzaltumuhu. Allah says, antum, is it you? Anzaltumuhu, that who sent it down? And again, anzaltumuhu is, the root word is, it's from the word that you see, nazzala. And because there are so many words before and after, you might think it's a new word, but it's, you know, the same word. Anzalna. And over here, if we break it apart, is, anzaltume is how, or who. And then the root word is noon, zalam, and then tumuhu. Have you revealed or sent it? Who is it? Okay, have you sent down it? Okay, so if you break it apart, there are many words within this one big word. Min, from, al-muzni, and muzni is what? The rain clouds. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking a question. Are you the water that you see, you know, that you enjoy or you drink and you know, quench your thirst? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking, are you the ones who sent it down from the rain clouds? And for this word, you might think that it's a new word. And what was that ayah about the rain clouds? Ayah number 69, is it? Yeah. So muzni is from the root word mim, za, noon. It's pretty simple because it's a very simple word. You see alif noon at the beginning for the, and muzni is obviously the root. Mim, za, noon. So clouds that have, you know, they are filled with droplets of rain. Okay? And then Allah says, or nahnu, we, al-munzilun. We are the ones who send down the rain. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, you know, making us think, ponder and reason that where do all these blessings come from? If humans are not able to bring all these changes, bring about, you know, water for our daily use, then who is that being who does all this? He wants us to think and, you know, use our reasoning and ponder and find Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just as how Ibrahim alayhi salam pondered around him and himself, and he found Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Law nashau, law, if, nashau, we will, ja'alnahu, we could make it, ujajan, we could make it salty. You know, it is so simple, so easy for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If He wanted, He could make all the water that we see around us, we can make, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can make it salty. And is salty water of any use for us? Can humans use salty water for anything? Is it as beneficial as sweet water? It is not. And I don't know if you've seen, in countries that, you know, they don't have fresh water sources, they take water from the oceans and they convert that salty water in desalination plants and they make it into sweet water. And even though they try to desalinate it, yet it is not the same as sweet water. I've lived in Saudi Arabia, so over there, because coastal line in Jeddah, the city of Jeddah, they have big desalination plants, and they try to desalinate the water, remove the salt, yet that water is not as beneficial, as good as obviously the sweet water. Okay, so that is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted, He gave us so many blessings. Just look at the example of water. You see that water that falls from the rain clouds, it gets changed into water that is drinkable. And you see that not just that water that accumulates in the lakes and the rivers and everything, but there is water that seeps down the ground and it fills the water table. And is that water salty or is it sweet water? That's under the ground. It turns into sweet water, isn't it? So who does all that process of, converting the water cycle that you must have learned in science? Who does all that? Who brings about all those changes? So if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted, He could easily turn all the water that you see around you into salty water. And then Allah says, فَلَوْلَا تَشْكُرُونَ. فَلَوْ, then, low, why not? La, not. Tashkurun, you will be grateful. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, asking questions, and He is, making us ponder over all the blessings that we see around us. So if Allah wanted, He can change, all the water. That might be something simple, but it is the source of life for us. If it becomes salty water, it is of no use for us. So let's say, even though I've given so many blessings, so will people still not become grateful? فَلَوْ لَا تَشْكُرُونَ. Will you not become grateful? And how can we show our gratitude for all these blessings that He has given us? What comes to your mind? Let's end it with this ayah, inshallah. How can I be grateful? How can I be grateful for all the blessings that He has given me? Follow His commands, yes. What else? And remember, I always, the hadith that comes to my mind is the hadith of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, that he used to pray night and day. He used to stand up in night during night time and pray that his feet were swollen. And what did he say when Aisha radhiyallahu anha, she asked, why do you pray so much? All your sins have been forgiven. What did he say? Yes, by doing our azkar. Yes. Be satisfied with what you have. Yes. So what did he say? I want to be grateful servant of Allah. That is why I'm praying. That is why I'm making qiyam. I'm standing in the night prayer. Why? Because he wanted to be grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Isn't it? And we see from the example of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, that ibadah is not just, something we do because we want something, we dua just because we want something, but it is also a form of showing our gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So all the salah and everything that we do, all the 5 daily prayers, or even the voluntary prayers. If we're doing voluntary prayers, we are doing it. Why? Because maybe we want to show our gratitude by doing those voluntary prayers. Okay, and inshallah we will end it here. Any questions so far? Any questions? Any doubts? Yes, actually I missed a couple of classes due to my midterms. I was wondering how I could access them, but I don't know which one to choose. Like Sierra recordings come in other options, but which option is for this class? Okay, so I will inshallah answer your question, Sister Nabtahil. No worries, inshallah. I think someone was sharing a YouTube link. I don't remember. Last week I remember Sister had shared our recording of the previous classes. Can someone share the YouTube link, please? Okay. Any questions so far? Is everyone good till here? So today we finished till ayah number 70. Inshallah, we just have about 20 more ayahs, 20, 25 more ayahs, and inshallah we can finish with Surah Waqi'a next class. Okay, I didn't want to rush. I didn't want to, not go into details today's ayahs, so it's not a problem. Inshallah, we can finish next week, and we will review Surah Waqi'a. And if you have any questions, you're most welcome to ask me in next class. And inshallah, after next class, you will have access to the quiz. Okay? Anyone has, I will let you know, inshallah, about March break if you'll have classes. The recording should be on the website too, Doha website. But if not, if someone, yes, Jazakallah khairan. So here is the link for all you who missed any of the previous classes. You can use this link on YouTube, and it has all our past classes. Okay? So everyone is good till here? No questions? Jazakallah khair, barakallah feek sana. Okay. Any questions so far? Everyone is good? And next week, what we will do is, inshallah, we will see the surah in detail, and we will do a review of the whole surah, and inshallah, we will try to derive few action points or points of amal for ourselves. Okay, and the next class will be the last class with me. After that, inshallah, I think admin will let you know if we will have classes in March break. And inshallah, the next class will be taken, when we start a new surah, it will be taken by another teacher, inshallah. Okay, so let's, before we end, I just want you to tell me 3 things that you learned in today's class. Points of amal, points for us to work on. 3 points. A summary of what we did today. We did from ayah number 50 to ayah number 51 to ayah number 70. So each one of you can share 1 point, and inshallah we'll have probably more than 3 points, inshallah. I want each one of you, what you learned and what you really liked about the ayahs that we did today, and something that connected with you, or something that touched your heart, or something that made you think. 1 point from today's class. Something that you are going to implement on. Something that you, inshallah, have the intention that you're going to work on. Just 1 point. What did we learn so far? From ayah number 51 to 70. Anyone going to write their point? Just 1 point from today's ayahs, this passage. Like, for example, what I learned was how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, about the blessings. That sometimes we take blessings for granted. Yes, people of Jahannam will eat zakum and drink boiling water. Okay, good. That's a good summary point from what we learned. And what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say about the blessings? فَلَوْلَا تَشْكُرُونَ, in the last ayah that we did today, ayah number 70. All the blessings that we enjoy, Allah says, are you not going to be grateful? And how are we truly grateful? When we stability, yes. Yes, when we ponder and reflect on all the creations and the blessings of Allah, and we are grateful, and when we reflect on whatever is around us, we are more grateful, isn't it? As the smallest of blessings, sometimes we take it for granted. Like how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, the water that you drink, sometimes you don't even, acknowledge the fact that we have clean drinking water that comes from our taps, isn't it? So we need to be grateful, we need to acknowledge that it is a big blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we need to show our gratitude by serving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, by serving the deen. Fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and be thankful for the blessings, yes. Otherwise they are going to have severe punishment. Yes, I learned about choices in dunya, and the Zabaqun choose to prioritize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is why they will be rewarded with choice in Jannah. Yes, that's a great point. Michelle, I too feel that this is something that I will, inshallah, reflect on till our next class, that everyone has choices, and depending on what we choose, we will be getting, based on that, we'll be getting the reward in Jannah. Yes, be grateful for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for He has given us, yes, and don't complain about small things. Good, barakallah feek. Excellent, mashallah, like we have a lot of points for us to, from today's class, for us to reflect on and for us to put it into our amal, inshallah. Okay? So, everyone is good. We will end it here, inshallah. Jazakallah khair, barakallah feekum. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our coming here and, learning the verses of Quran. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from the torment of hellfire. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us an easy reckoning on the day of judgment. Allahumma hasibna hisaban yasira. Ameen. So jazakallah khair to all my dear sisters. Inshallah, we will meet next week and we will conclude Surah Waqi'a. And for half an hour, inshallah, we'll do a detailed summary of Surah Waqi'a so that you are prepared for the test. And if you have any questions, I will inshallah answer you in our next class. Okay, jazakallah khair, barakallah feekum. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.